Hello. It is Wednesday. Whoa, sorry. It is Wednesday, March 1st. Oh, it's around 11 p.m. Today was the start of the bike challenge that I kind of set for myself to go ahead and bike to work every day in March. Um, I uh, I biked to work today, and that was fine. It was the day before I had dropped off most of my equipment, so clothes, my laptop for work, and chargers, battery for charging lights at work, um, all of that stuff. I also dropped off food um, to keep at work for dinner, and the the biking to and from work is for me specifically has more challenges than than biking biking with a different schedule. Um, I bike, or I work, I should say, from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Actually, I just recently changed my schedule so that Monday I actually start and finish work earlier. Um, but the majority of the week, I work 11 to 8, which means I start work at roughly around lunchtime, basically, and then I finish work um, after everybody else has left. Uh, and usually, when people are leaving, they are leaving, and I still have 2 3 hours to go before the end of my shift. Um, all facilities, more or less, inside of the office shut down, and because of how the office is engineered where I work, um, there are no places to really like keep um, uh, to keep like kitchenware, like bowls, for example. Uh, there's nowhere to go ahead and really keep a bowl um, inside of this office, which is massive, beautiful office with a central kitchen and a cafeteria and stuff like that. But the kitchen is off limits. You have to be kitchen staff to actually be in there. So um, they're only open between 11:30 and 1:30. So um, like I can get lunch there, um, which is generally fine, but I can't get dinner there. There's no way they will never actually have dinner there, and they're not going to go ahead and have any things that you can go ahead and use to make a meal at, even if you bring equipment to make a meal. So that's a problem. Uh, I I brought in some Tupperware so that I can go ahead and get um, some spare. Uh, Having a brain fart. Sorry, I'm tired. Um, Leftovers from lunch, because there's always a lot of leftovers at lunch. And sorry, I'm gonna make this light brighter. That's why I'm getting distracted. Um, there's a lot of leftovers at lunch, and so I'm able to go ahead and take leftovers and kind of pack them away. Um, but if I want to eat a hot meal that I make at the office with a bowl, and keep that bowl at the office, uh, I actually am not able to. There's no way to go ahead and reasonably clean the bowl. I don't want to go ahead and use the sinks that they have or break into the kitchen to clean my own bowl. Um, Same thing with my own cutlery, right? Because they take away all the spoons and forks and stuff, so I can't use those things. Um, the only thing that you can actually use after the kitchen closes is like mugs for coffee and tea and stuff. Uh, so rather than get frustrated about it and disappointed about it, I'm trying to go ahead and make it work. So yesterday I dropped off my clothing. I dropped off my electronics, my work stuff, and I also brought some powdered soup that I can have for dinner. I eat this stuff for dinner on a pretty regular basis. It is not bad. Um, it's pretty filling. It's vegetarian. I think it's fully vegan or something like that. Which is not a major thing for me, but it doesn't have any meat inside of it, but it does have it is nutritionally complete, so it has the right mix of protein and carbohydrate and fat and all of that stuff, and um, mixing stuff into that as kind of a base makes for a very filling meal. So I got over it. I brought a mug, like a big mug that I could use for soup, in addition to a spare Tupperware and a spoon, and I had to bring them back home um, while I continued to kind of figure that whole thing out. Uh, and while I am trying to go ahead and figure out, like, can I actually keep this stuff at the office? Like, is it reasonable to keep it at the office? Right now, I think the answer is no, which is very disappointing. Um, it's not frustrating because I'm able to work around it, and if I keep all of my other stuff at the office, I can just bring a bowl and a spoon back and forth, in addition to a Tupperware. I probably will just need to go ahead and bring a bowl that is microwave safe and shatterproof, so maybe just another Tupperware for dinner. Uh, it is a challenge that I need to go ahead and make sure that I am comfortable with. And uh, uh, Having dinner at the right time is obviously very important for me. Um, it helps me, like, the if I eat at the right time, I actually can sleep a little bit better. I'm not, kind of in the process of digesting while I am trying to go ahead and go to sleep. Uh, and overall, I just try to go ahead and I try to limit my calorie intake after usually around 10 p.m. or so. So and I usually go to sleep at like 11. It's like almost 11:30 right now, so I should be getting ready for bed. I have pajamas on. Uh, but um, the ride to work was very breezy and uneventful. Didn't really have any issues there. Uh, After dealing with the challenges of it's like the dinner logistics, basically, and all of the complexities that involved. I was able to eat, so I got some quality nutrition in, and then I biked home. I felt like I had enough energy to go ahead and bike home, and of course, because I work late for the majority of the year, I'd bike home in the dark. And biking home on this route is very challenging and stressful, which is unfortunate because I would like to go ahead and say I would bike home the entire route just as often as I would bike to work. But I'm realizing very quickly that um, that is probably not inside of my risk profile uh, because um, the amount of high speed traffic that I have to go ahead and kind of go through uh, is a lot, and there are some very very major intersections that don't just have like 4 lane roads. It's actually 8 lanes, um, and then 8 lanes that go across, and then 4 lanes that go across that bisect it. So being able to actually cross that intersection is extremely risky on a bike. Um, I dismounted. I usually when encountering these high risk areas, I will go ahead and get off the bike and I will walk it through the intersection with a crosswalk signal. And even walking through with a crosswalk signal, there were like cars that are trying to go ahead and just push through the intersection while a pedestrian, me, has the right of way. Um, and there are other high speed intersections that are like this as well. Uh, in addition to that, there's basically no quiet area to go ahead and complete the ride home. So it is the majority of the ride home is very very stressful. Um, Further made stressful by the fact that it's at night, and if you have ever biked at night, and you wear glasses like me, the amount of glare that headlights actually project into your face is a lot. Um, and the bike lanes around here are not protected. They're just painted bike lanes. So while trying to go ahead and navigate around debris, possibly uphill, and and also trying to go ahead and not get hit by cars going at 45, 50 plus miles an hour on the same roads, um, I'm also being blinded by cross traffic. Uh, and So I was able to go ahead and complete the ride. I got back home in one piece, but it does make me rethink the worthiness of sustainably biking back home through all of these high stress areas. Um, I do want to go ahead and I want to take my bike to and from work. So the way that I'm thinking about this, oh, my back is hurting, so I'm gonna move. The way that I'm thinking about this is, it makes more sense to bike the whole way to work. The bike to work is during the daytime. It's the route is the same route, but it's a lot easier to manage during the daytime. Um, for all of those reasons, right? I don't have to worry about headlight glare. I don't have to worry about people who are even more inattentive inside of on the while they're on the road and through those really high stress, really busy intersections. Um, and the flow of traffic is different as well. Uh, so what I have been looking at is bike to a bus stop and take the bus part way to get through kind of the busiest intersections, and then get off. There's at basically the last bus stop, and then bike the rest of the way home, and that cuts a pretty significant portion out of uh, the stressful areas that I would need to go ahead and normally bike. um, and it doesn't really add too much time. It adds maybe an extra 10 minutes, um, but when you factor in the that I'm going to be on a bus as opposed to having to go ahead and play in high speed traffic at night, the uh, the taking the bus is quite a bit more appealing. And then when I get to my bus stop that I need to get to, the ride back is um, I'm laughing because it's still in high speed traffic, but the amount of high speed traffic that I have to deal with is significantly less, and I can follow the flow of traffic in that case. Um, so it's a hard sell either way. There's a good reason why other people don't take this bike route or even really bike commute in Austin for probably any longer distance than um, probably 6 miles or so. But I'm determined to go ahead and actually achieve some form of mastery over this route. I will continue attempting to bike at night and get more used to navigating and finding alternate routes and you know um, optimizing the routes that I do have. But for right now, I'm going to have to go ahead and I will need to strongly consider doing like, okay, maybe some days out of the week I will go ahead and try biking the full way, or I can bike around where I work on the weekends, and then I can bike back just during the daytime, so I can get a little bit more experience with the route without having to worry about nearly as much traffic at night. Um, while I'm building that skill up. Uh, we'll see. Um, anyway, the tomorrow I am going to go ahead and bike into work, and well, maybe I'll bike into work. It's actually a bit of a hard decision to make because starting at 3 p.m. tomorrow, the there's going to be a very high wind warning of 30 to 50 mile per hour sustained winds inside of Austin, uh, from 3 p.m. all the way until midnight, and then like people that I know in Dallas and Houston are getting like tornado warnings and stuff like that. So it might actually be too risky to ride, and they might start shutting down buses that I would be dependent on to get back home with my bike if I did bike to work and then try to bike back. So I might end up driving to work because my electronics and all my stuff is there. Um, but it is one of those things where instead of saying that I'm going to bike to work every day no matter what, um, during March, it makes a lot more sense sustainably to go ahead and say I am going to bike to work as much as I reasonably can, um, and also bike back home as much as I reasonably can, and we'll see how things go. I feel pretty good about, even though I just went on for, I don't know, 20 minutes about the challenges that I had on day one, especially with the night riding stuff. Um, it's not going to be like that forever. I'm going to go ahead and I'll get more experience. I'll get more confidence in the saddle, and I'll be able to go ahead and navigate traffic easier, and I will get better at um, at this commute. That's the name of the game. Uh, the reason why I'm doing this commute in the first place is because I have more goals ahead that require me to be more self self sufficient on the bike. If I want to go ahead, if I want to bike by myself for multiple days, I can't depend on if I'm going to be able to get to a stop um, that has the things that I want. I need to make sure that I have all of the things that all of the things to survive on the bike. And if I am in a really stressful situation, urban or wilderness situation, I I need to be able to take care of myself. So being able to acknowledge the challenges and risks that I have to face on a commute for bikes um, is is not the same thing as being afraid of them, but it is being practical because I want to be able to keep biking instead of get hit by cars. So we'll figure it out one day at a time. I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. I am tired. Good night.